On today's episode of Titus and Tate, it happened, Tate. You spoke it into existence. Mark Turgeon, Turgatory, RIP. It's over. 8 games into the season. We talked about it on the last show because Maryland had lost to Virginia Tech. They were 5-3, I believe, on the season, and
not terrible.
Not terrible, but like
it's Turgatory.
Yeah, and we I don't know. We were just kind of having some fun hashing it out of like, is Maryland going to move on from Mark Turgeon at the end of the year? You were like, I think they have to. We thought it was at the end of the year, Tate. It was not at the end of the year. No, it was now.
I thought the seat was hot.
Yes. Yeah.
But I didn't know the seat was on fire.
I didn't know the seat was non-existent. I didn't know
there is no seat.
I didn't know that Mark Turgeon was going to stand up, pack his seat, and walk away. And that's exactly what happened. So we're going to talk about that. Also, Big Ten basketball news. The Purdue Boilermakers, Tate.
Number one.
Your new number one. Purdue has been number 2 many times. My father will tell you that they are always number 2, that they are PU for a reason, as he would say. But Purdue is now number 1 for the first time in program history. It's just a shame Neil Armstrong's not here to
pour one out.
He would be over the moon, Tate.
Yeah. Yes. As all Boilermakers are. Good day in West Lafayette.
We have Coach Titus coming on the program a little bit to talk about
so
this.
So for all the West Lafayette Purdue fans, maybe you just skip through that because that's going to be IU's coming in hot. You know what I mean? They're a little hurt. They are hurt.
They're shook, dude. Yeah. They are shook. My dad, though, is not mad. We just got done doing the interview with him, and he's very much not
Definitely
mad.
Not
he's
mad.
hashtag not mad at all.
No, he's excited about what Woody's got cooking.
There's that. Also, Gonzaga. Are we hitting the panic button on them? Lose to Alabama in Seattle. And is
it good for Gonzaga? That's what the contrarians are asking.
Well, make your case, I guess. We'll see. We'll talk about that. And Memphis is officially dead. I cannot wait to talk about.
I think we're out on Memphis.
I know, but their Penny is a quote machine right now, and we have to discuss some of these quotes. There's a ton to get to, but first,
Woody Durham.
All right, we got to start with Mark Turgeon. The Mark Turgeon era at Maryland's officially over. Tate hears his name and starts laughing just instinctively. This was year 11 for Turgeon. 10 years, 1 Sweet 16 appearance. Yeah. This was the problem that Maryland fans had. For those who aren't plugged into what was going on in Maryland basketball, basically the big bullet points are that Turgatory is the term we use for the state of Mark Turgeon. Era Maryland
you could
basketball.
Win the Big Ten, but it's a 3-way tie. It would just you could be number 2 in the country.
You're gonna make the NCAA tournament, but you're gonna lose in the first weekend.
Exactly.
And is that good? Is it not good? It's Turgatory. It's in the middle. It's you're not horrible, but you're
relevant.
Not. Yes.
But are you?
Yes. And at long last, the Maryland fans were losing their minds. They couldn't take it anymore. Maryland loses to George Mason at home this year. Who else did they lost to Virginia Tech? Who was the third loss? I forget. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
But Danny Manning was the big news of the offseason. They bring in Danny Manning. They bring in some key transfers. I mean, they get a lot
Fats
of
Russell.
Yeah,
Wahab.
They had the preseason hype. There's a lot of people that in the Big Ten media that picked them to finish 3rd. Which is very Turgatory. You're not picked to finish first, but you're picked to finish in the top 4, so that's good.
They lost to Louisville, by the way. I just looked it up.
Mike Rutherford. Shout out to you. Yeah, Mike Rutherford actually is so upset that I like Maryland more than Louisville. You know what I mean? It's like as my ACC bias. Like he's like, why? He's like, he cannot compute. But I do want Maryland.
I will say that doesn't make a lot of sense for
I know it's not that
for an old ACC guy to like Maryland more than Louisville. That doesn't compute.
No, it's because it's respect. You know what I mean? I know Maryland. Louisville's like new kid on the block. You know what I mean? And then they come in and they're yelling about we got the greatest rivalry. You're like, whoa, hold up.
All right.
And I know a lot of people were like, well, 1980, 1986. I get it, but that's UCLA run over. You know what I mean? Like that was John Wood. John Wooden's everywhere, as we saw the statues in Indiana and everywhere else in the world. But
John Wooden went.
Love Louisville.
John Wooden went to Purdue, by the way. He number 1 Purdue.
Yeah, that's right. This is Purdue's just having a great time.
All roads lead back to
John Wooden.
So Turgatory, it's over 8 games into the season. They lose to George Mason. They lose to Louisville. They lose to Virginia Tech. This was a Maryland team that was preseason ranked. There was expectations of some sort. They were probably, like as you said, they were picked to finish 3rd for that. That is the Turgeon experience. It does not look like that's what's going to end up happening. And so Maryland fans who came into the season already primed. They're already kind of over Mark Turgeon. Let's be honest. Like if we were guessing when they got over Mark Turgeon, it was probably that 2015 season, right? The 15, was it 15, 16?
2015, 16.
With the Melo Trimble and the
North Carolina Villanova ended up being in the final.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like that was the year that like Maryland fans were like, all right, I've seen enough. We're probably ready to move on. And he stuck around for 5 more years. And
they were done after 7 years.
Yeah. It's a 7-year itch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real.
It's the lesson.
And they were ready to move on, and then they start 5-3. And apparently, the story that's being and we got to talk about this because I don't know what the real story is, but the story that's being put out there is that Mark Turgeon, after losing to Virginia Tech, right? Was that it? Am I understanding this correctly? Yeah, Virginia Tech was at home. After the Virginia Tech game, they lose. He's walking to the locker room, and fans are basically booing him. They're saying mean things. They're just bullying Mark Turgeon. And he takes a long look in the mirror and decides, I've had enough, I quit. And that's it. And that's the story. Because when the announcement was made, they said it was a mutual, that Maryland and Mark Turgeon mutually agreed to part ways. And we know that that's not true. We know that these decisions are never mutual. They can't possibly be mutual. Because like, if you're firing your coach 8 games into the season, that's sort of unprecedented for if there's no off-court issues, which there's not in this case, as far as we know, but I'm going to feel pretty confident.
It isn't about that. Yeah.
I'm going to feel pretty confident there's nothing off court. And it's a guy who won the conference a couple years ago, and the team's 5-3. It's like if they started 0-8, maybe I could see a world where he gets fired 8 games into the season. So I'm supposed to believe, if this is truly mutual, that 8 games into the season, Maryland decides they want to fire him, which would be like kind of insane, like insane, unprecedented timing. And on the other side of it, at the exact same time, 8 games into the season, Mark Turgeon decides he's ready to quit. And they both just like walk into the same room at the same time. I'm going to say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. I quit. They're like, you're fired. No, at the same time. Of course
They're arguing who was first.
Of course not, dude.
I think he quit.
He definitely quit.
And I think he quit for, like you said, I mean, the Maryland fan base, they just feel like they were forced into this marriage at this point, and they were both ready to be done with it. And I think that Mark Turgeon could go to another situation and be a good coach. It's never been about Mark Turgeon, the basketball coach. I like the guy. But at the end of the day, you have Danny Manning on that bench right next to him, a guy who can easily step right in and step up. I love when the guys step down. Danny Manning steps up into the head coaching role and is a great interim. There's going to be conversations. I promise you, by February, we're going to have some conversations that people are like, should Danny Manning get the job as the Maryland head coach so they can...
Who are these people? Show me these people, dude.
Me. I'm going to do this. Should Danny Manning keep this job? But then the good conversation... the good conversation is what the conversation we were having on the last episode before we even knew this was going to happen about Maryland, which is they need a return to prominence. They need to get out of Turgatory. The first step to get out of Turgatory is to get rid of the Turg.
Yes, just get rid of the Turg.
And he's out. So now we're moving forward.
When I initially saw everything break, I thought he was fired. I thought like there's no way it's mutual. There were reports coming out that he made the decision. It was more Mark Turgeon's decision than Maryland's decision. I didn't believe that. I thought like he was definitely fired because Maryland's paying his buyout, dude. They just did a contract extension.
Yeah.
He has a $5 million buyout that they are paying in full, which they don't have to because he resigned. Apparently, that's the story. But then I guess like as we've had more time to talk to listen to, I don't know, points of view, that seems to be the narrative we're going with, is that Mark Turgeon decided to step down. But then even in stepping down, Tate, he turns and points the fingers at the Maryland fans. So like now we're supposed to be in a position, you and I, where we sit down here and we talk about the state of Maryland fandom and are they too toxic, all this sort of stuff. When really the story should be Mark Turgeon quit on his team 8 games into a season.
Yeah, he quit.
When Jalen Johnson opted out of Duke, we killed him for it. And that was with like a week left in the season, 2 weeks left.
And he's
a kid.
So this is a grown up.
This dude spent all summer convincing Danny Manning, Curtis Wahab, Fats Russell, like however many guys to buy in. Everybody buy in. 8 games into the season, which listen, it was not going well for Maryland. We know that, but a lot can change.
What did the fans say? That's the real question. What did they say that finally made him snap and say, I'm done with this. I'm done with these Maryland fans. But also, Maryland fans are not they are not happy with mediocrity.
Yeah, like what?
They do not want to live in purgatory. So they finally snapped, as they should have, and he should have taken that. And I guess he took it as he assumed that the fans were done with him. So he was like, I'm going to bow out of the situation. But like you said, he deserves to get burned for that for quitting on these guys on this team.
Unlike you, I genuinely have no feelings either way about Mark Turgeon as a coach in terms of like I think Purgatory is funny. I thought the whole idea is funny. Yeah. It's just like he's basically the Tom Crean model at Indiana, but like but without the goofy faces and all that, you know. So like
with anger,
it's just
but
funny.
Not Gary Williams fun anger.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now in light of this, I don't understand because everyone's saying that Mark Turgeon is going to land on his feet somewhere, whatever. If I'm a fan of the school that hires Mark Turgeon after he quit on his team 8 games into, I don't understand how that's like not the story. Mm-hmm. I do understand in the sense that like I get how this business works and all of us media types have friends and Turgeon has a lot of friends in the media and they don't want to kill him. They want to point the finger at Maryland fans and say,
"No, I like the guy."
You know, I like the guy. It's not his fault. It's your fans' fault because you're booing because you're 5-3 when you expected some sort of you expected more than one Sweet 16 in 10 years. That's on you. Look in the mirror. That's like that's how this business works. But so I understand that part, but I don't at the same time I don't understand how the story is anything other than Mark Turgeon quit on his team because as we said, you bring all these guys in, you tell them to buy in. It's a long season, Tate. You start 5-3. You know how many teams have started 5-3, made the NCAA tournament? A lot. It happens a lot.
Yes.
For God's sakes, Villanova's lost how many times this season? Is Jay Wright going to bail on his team because he's like, no.
But the good news, if you're Maryland, is that Danny Manning is there and you have a competent guy who has coached in a big conference and understands how to manage.
You're trying to sell Maryland fans on Danny Manning
for this year. I'm just saying it could be worse.
Northwestern at home.
It could be worse. You got Danny Manning.
So where does Maryland go from here? Because it's not going to be Danny Manning.
No,
it's not going to be Danny Manning.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, I think, they're the usual suspects. I think Kim English from George Mason that beat them is probably their first call, right?
Their first call.
Maybe not their first call, but like their most reasonable call where they're like, this could be exciting. This guy, has a lot of energy they could bring here. Kevin Willard's going to be on that list probably. But the one we want them to call, the name that we want to see is Rick Pitino.
Yes, I was going to.
Facts.
Yes.
I mean, and let me just be honest. And that's why Mike Rutherford is upset because Rick Pitino going to Maryland and coming back to the ACC is what we all want. Are you kidding me? If Rick Pitino goes to Maryland, we're getting them back to the ACC. I don't care what it takes. We're making all the phone calls. Scott Van Pelt, use your platform. Use your platform, Scott. Get Rick Pitino to Maryland and get Maryland to the ACC. That's the play. If you want to be relevant, that's the play.
It's a good point because if Pitino's going to Maryland, they can't be in the Big Ten. Pitino's not a Big Ten coach.
No.
He's not a Big Ten coach.
That's part of the agreement to go to Maryland. He's like, we would not play in the Big Ten. We will absolutely not play in the Big Ten.
Kim English is interesting. I think he's too young. He's a little that would be a little bit of a swing. I think.
I wish Shaka
I wouldn't hate it
for Marquette yet. I wish Shaka was in the mix.
Dude. Oh my God!
That's what I would have really wanted.
Why are you torching Maryland fans?
It's not. I mean, I'm happy for Maryland fans.
That's just rebranded Turgatory right there. Shaka. I mean, he's just gonna.
I don't know what we would call that, the Shaka era, but I think that if you're Maryland, you have such optimism because you can go any way right now, right?
Yeah.
You can go Rick Pitino, you can go a legacy play because you have that kind of cachet, or you can go for the young up and comers.
I'm curious how toxic Sean Miller actually is because I've seen, I know, that's what I mean. Like it feels like he's pretty toxic, but then why is he toxic? Because nothing he did is illegal now, right? Or was it? I mean, it was illegal. It's
we don't know. He lives in the gray area. And also, College Park, I think Sean Miller could do really well in College Park. It would make sense. And he could go there and do really well. But he tested the waters with Maryland once upon a time.
2011, 10 years ago. Yeah.
And he was he had a bunch of stipulations and things that they were absolutely not.
So they've been down this road before.
So maybe they don't re-engage.
Yeah, we don't want that. The other name I see people throwing out is John Beilein, which
we talked about that.
His age it always comes up, but
it's a legacy play too.
Who cares? Just
Rick Pitino would be insane.
Patino is how old's Patino though? I mean, he's
who cares? He's a vampire. He's probably 400.
Yeah. I am at the point though where I want to do Maryland fans a favor and not because this is the part that I've learned this over the last few years, 4 or 5 years, and you certainly learned this last year with North Carolina.
Yeah,
that there's kind of nothing worse than being a college basketball fan and having your program have a coach, and then you're discussing like people you want to get, and then just having outsiders say they'll never do it over and over and over, and that's just all you hear is like this guy will never go there. This guy will, and sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, but it's just like somebody's gonna take the job, and so it becomes like
Phil Jackson turned down the Carolina job
this offseason.
That was a rumor. I'm kidding. Coach K.
Oh, you got me excited about him, like the idea of Phil Jackson getting offered the job in like 2000 or something or whatever. But
Jim has this master plan that Coach K comes and coaches Carolina.
What about Coach K to Maryland?
I was thinking that.
That adds up, dude. That heads up.
Pretty sweet.
You know what the
he's retiring from Duke.
Yeah.
He does a Jay Leno. He's like, I'm retiring, but I'm still doing my own thing. I'm still in show business.
You know what the Maryland play is for the old timer, like the Mike Woodson play for Maryland would be John Lucas.
Dude, Juan Dixon.
Juan Dixon sucks.
Don't you say that.
Look up Juan Dixon's Coppin State record.
He's at Coppin State. That's not his fault. If he's at Maryland, he's winning everything.
Andy Infield's getting tossed out too.
For what? Maryland?
For Maryland.
How? Who even remembers him?
Because he went to Johns Hopkins, and that's in Maryland.
Oh.
I think that's a connection.
Chris is mad. He's like, don't you talk about this. He's like, leave Andy Infield out of this.
No, I'm serious. All these because I don't know. Like the exercise. What I was saying about Maryland about throwing names out. Nobody knows anything. Everyone starts throwing stuff out immediately of like, here are some candidates of whatever, and then everyone picks them apart, and they're like, this guy would never go there. Rick Pitino's never going to go there. I don't know. Are you paying any attention to what's happening in college football? Of course, guys will go to, and this is what made me like lose my mind about Stevens and like
Brian Kelly going to LSU pretty much proved that anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Yeah.
This is why I was going nuts last year with Stevens to IU, like working myself I was foaming at the mouth because I was like, don't tell me it's impossible. It's not impossible. It's possible. Anything's possible. So I'm not going to do that with Maryland fans. Throw them all out there, figure it out. I don't know, but what is Maryland job? Where does it rank for you in terms of like? Because that's the other discussion everyone has. Like, is this even
Maryland in
still
the
a good job?
ACC is a tier 1 job. Maryland in the Big Ten is a tier 2 job. Facts.
Is there a supporting evidence to those facts, or you just say facts after
facts?
You just make a point and then say facts, and then you don't have to back it up. Is that
Maryland
what we're doing here?
In the ACC, different animal. Maryland in the Big Ten, same beast.
What?
They got to get out of the Big Ten. That is the next step of Turgatory. They have to get out of the Big Ten.
They're not getting out of the Big Ten.
They have to.
It's not going to happen. In fact,
the Big Ten should trade them for Louisville. That's a fair trade for everybody. And I know Mike Rutherford is now losing his mind. He's officially jumped out of his chair.
Nobody wants out of the Big Ten, though. That's the problem. The Big Ten is...
No. Maryland wants out. Come home, Maryland.
What is happening?
SVP. This is the time, Titus. But other than that, I think it is like it's on the line, really, of tier 1, tier 2, and it could be either way.
Yeah.
Know?
Yeah.
And they could go Kim English, and we could be excited about it. But I think they should go for a big swing. I think it's really the time.
And the big swing is Rick Pitino in your mind. What is the big swing? If you're the Maryland AD, and it's like, who's the guy that runs Under Armour? And Van Pelt and whoever else, and Taylor Twellman and every other
Kevin Plank, I think is the
Kevin Plank, yeah. All the big wigs at Maryland come in and they're like, you name the price, we'll make it happen. We just want you to go take that big swing. Who's your big swing?
Brad Stevens. No, I'm kidding. I think Rick Pitino is the realistic big swing as far as we want to win now. If you want to win now,
rejuvenate the fan base.
I mean,
yeah.
The old heads, the true bloods at Maryland come out if Rick Pitino comes there. I promise you that. He wear that white suit again. Tony Montana's back on the sideline, stalking the sidelines.
Dude, everyone listening thinks we're joking. We're not joking at all.
I am not.
I'm not joking at all.
I hope Rick Pitino is listening to this.
Yeah.
And I hope he understands how much I would support that move.
Oh, my God, dude. It would be so sick. He'd only be there for 5 years or whatever.
Yeah,
but that, are you kidding me? That's what if 5 years it would
Kay's
be.
Gone.
Yes.
Roy's gone.
Yes.
Like it's his world and we're living in it. Talk about redemption tour. Are you kidding me? Like, who's the AD at Maryland? Hire Tom Jurich and hire Rick Pitino together. Package deal. That's
oh man.
I got his age, by the way.
Patino, 69.
Hire him.
That was perfect.
Hire him.
You get Grievous Vasquez on the sideline too,
dude. Absolutely.
Who is the former player play? It's John Lucas. It's John Lucas.
John Lucas.
I think it's Lynn Elmore. It's
Chris Wilcox.
Chris Wilcox, Steve Blake. I mean, like Juan Dixon's the one who's coaching right now. He's horrible at Coppin State. Though. You got to build it up a little bit. Juan.
I think
Grievous is coaching right now.
Yeah, I think.
Is he really? Where's he coaching?
Juan could be top assistant. That'd be good.
Hold on, where's Grievous Vasquez?
Grievous Vasquez is an associate head coach for the Erie Bayhawks, which is in the G League the Pelicans.
Dude. Which is better than that's a step down, honestly.
He should be a college basketball coach.
The G League's better than college basketball, so he'd be like stepping. If he can handle the G League, the Erie Bayhawks, he could surely handle.
Or could he? Because Mike Woodson, he could handle the NBA, but he could not handle college basketball.
That was also on his Wikipedia from 2 years ago, just to let you know. So that might not be true. I have no idea.
Juan Dixon, Grievous Vasquez, Rick Pitino, Tom Jurich. All to Maryland, and also Louisville to the Big Ten for Maryland to the ACC.
Right.
That's the trade. That's the big deal. That's the overarching deal that we need to go for.
What about Steve Francis?
Oh, I love it. Franchise.
Joe Smith.
What's he doing? Joe Smith.
Number one pick, Joe Smith.
What are I mean, you got to be careful though, man, because what we're seeing from Penny, what we're seeing from Patrick Ewing.
You know who's another good name? Keith Gatlin. Keith Gatlin on the bench.
But what we're seeing, all these hires, these guys, it's like, let's just bring in the guy who's the star here and have him run the show.
Yeah.
Isn't working out like we thought it might.
You know who the other big home
Strawberry?
The other big home run.
Darryl in there?
The other big home run that Maryland could go for, and I know this is going to sound crazy, Mick Cronin.
Because the UCLA, the East thing. Is that it?
No, Mick Cronin, you say he's the hottest coach in America.
That's a good point.
You know?
That would be wild.
That'd
be fun.
You call him.
He's too Hollywood.
Too Hollywood for college boys.
First concert was 2 years ago.
He's wearing sunglasses inside a college park, pissing everybody off. He should wear them during the games.
Dude, Mick Cronin versus Rick Pitino for the Maryland job.
My God. My final thought is just to reiterate for Maryland fans: don't let anyone. Because to me, this has become the conversation. Is like, are Maryland fans too toxic? Are they demanding too much?
I don't think so.
I don't think you
deserve more.
Even if it's not like, I think you deserve whatever you think you deserve. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, that's how fandom works. Like, if you're not happy, boo. Like, that's how it works. And it sucks. And I don't know. Like,
it's one thing, but like the precedent has been set. Like, you know who you can be, and you know, like, you know what I mean? It's not like Maryland's making up who they were. I mean, it's sort of NC State, right? I mean, they've won 2 national championships. It's not crazy for them to think that they can win more national championships. You know what I mean? So it's not like you haven't been there before. It's not crazy.
But it's like not even national championship stage. It's like literally more than one Sweet 16 in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like this is the same thing Indiana fans were going nuts about last summer. It's not, we're not talking, or last April. We're not talking about winning banner after banner after banner. Because everyone's like, you guys have not won a national championship since 1987. They literally did not make the NCAA tournament once under Archie Miller. The fans were like, if we get into the NCAA tournament this year and lose by 40, that's better than we ever did under Archie.
Yeah.
That's where we're at as a program. That's what we're trying to get to. That's where Maryland fans are coming from. They're like, we simply want to make Sweet 16s semi-regularly. Like, I want to make a Sweet 16 and then not have an entire like lifespan of like an entire era passes before we make a next one.
Yeah.
Like, that's all we're asking for right now.
And they can do that.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I think like it drives me nuts because like that becomes anytime someone gets fired, like that becomes the discussion point is like, are they demanding too much? But no, the answer is no. Demand what you demand, dude, because the second you start selling for mediocrity is the second you die.
But this is the most fun Maryland basketball conversation we've had in 7 years.
That's the point, yeah.
That's the beauty of getting out of Turgatory. Yeah. They jumped out of Turgatory.
Exactly. They're relevant. They could be relevant. Yeah.
It's a conversation again.
Yes.
And I think they should string this thing out, right? Don't hire any, like, let Danny Manning coach this whole season.
Absolutely.
And do all the interviews and see who's hot in the tournament.
Absolutely.
And figure out who the coach is.
Absolutely, dude. I'm telling you, put out a thing right now that's like whatever mid-major coach goes the farthest in the state tournament.
That's our coach.
That's our coach.
Yeah.
Good luck. Go do it. We'll hire you.
And Rick Pitino and Iona go to the Final Four, and Rick Pitino goes to Maryland. Finally. Justice.
It all adds up, dude. It all adds up. But no, man. Maryland fans, don't let anyone tell you. I mean, not that you need me to say this, but don't let anyone tell you that you're toxic or that I don't know. That drives me nuts with every fan base or every time we go through this of just like UCLA fans. I had a blast like watching the UCLA search, and then they landed on Mick Cronin. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Someone will pull the clip and dunk on me and shove it in my face, but I don't think I was like saying you're stupid for wanting better than Steve Alford or like you're a washed up program or whatever else.
We celebrated when Steve Alford got fired, not because of Steve Alford. And again, this is not about Mark Turgeon. It's about just the program and need to get re-energized at some level. And there's such a historic, powerful, program in the zeitgeist of college basketball, and it's better when they're good. And they were stagnant, and we don't like static characters. So Steve Alford was the most static character coach at UCLA. You could see the ceiling literally hanging over him. There was no aura around him. It was just this ceiling. And the same thing with Mark Turgeon. You know that there was nowhere to go. We knew where we were going to be. And now you have a conversation again. And Mick Cronin has done an amazing job, and he was the 12th guy.
Maybe.
And he's done an amazing job. So that's encouraging too if you're Maryland, right? You see that and you say, even if we don't get our number one choice, Rick Pitino, we might get a guy that can still take us there.
Right.
Chris Mack.
Chris Mack to Maryland? Dude, throw out the names. Who cares? It's
I love it. That's what I'm saying.
It's a fun time, dude. Yeah. I love coaching searches. What's up?
Roy Williams.
Oh, that's a great point.
I love that.
Does not have a job right now.
Nope. Unemployed.
Wow.
Unemployed.
Retired
happily.
Thad to Maryland.
No. He was forced out.
Thad to Maryland.
I don't like that. I don't like it.
Coach K to Maryland.
It might happen, but I don't like it.
Imagine if Coach K got to dunk on Maryland fans and be like, I'm your coach.
They would boo him. If I know anything about Maryland fans, they would hire Coach K and he'd come out the first game. Coach K would come out and be like, "It's great to be your coach. I plan," and everyone's just like, "Boo!"
Laughing.
No, there's not a single person that's like, "This is cool, man. Maybe we'll win a national title before he hangs it up." No, screw that guy.
I mean, every great coach like that, Lefty Driesell, Bobby Knight, they've always had Jim Calhoun. They always go to a second school. They never can get that itch again.
What about JJ Redick?
For what?
They love
Coach
him.
Maryland.
They love him at College Park, don't they?
Yeah. Great.
Oh my God! Do you imagine?
His sister on the sidelines.
Dude, they had some horrible signs. I mean, I don't think you could show game footage.
He has a sister. But they had signs about his sister.
They had some of them. I was
those are my friends. Those are my friends.
What?
Yeah, my friends who went to Maryland had made a lot of those JJ signs. Should we get one on the pod?
I mean, call them. Yeah, that sounds like a series. Maryland fans are worse than Carolina.
How many of them
fans.
are in prison now? Is what I want to know.
None. They're out.
Oh man.
They're back.
All right, that's it. I guess there's nothing else to be said. Mark Turgeon quit on his team, and Maryland fans have a right to be upset. That's it.
You have a right
don't let and it's gonna happen again when the next school that moves on from a coach, whatever. The national media types are gonna that have not been watching every single possession like these fans have. That are losing their minds. They're going to step in and they're going to be like, "You guys are expecting too much. You guys should be nicer to your coach." And then they're going to step away and scold no, let's get that out of here.
We're over that.
No.
If you're Maryland, you just hope that another premier program, like last year it was Carolina is having to fill their job. India, you hope that there's not a bigger school or a bigger program that fires their coach and then gets into the running and you're competing with them. That's
a good point.
That's your biggest fear right now because you're top dog. You're the best job available. But you don't want to get knocked down to the third best job available because now Kim English not even answering the phone because he's like, I'm waiting for the Louisville job.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch. It'll be fun to watch. All right, Purdue is ranked number 1.
Yes.
So we have to talk to my dad about it. Let's do that right now. All right, the Purdue Boilermakers are the country's new number 1 team, unanimously, Tate. The unanimous number 1 team in the country. And
R.I.P. the Coach K farewell tour.
Anytime anything good happens to Purdue basketball, my mind immediately goes to one person. It is my father, who
not your mother, the star.
My mother's literally in the Purdue Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yes.
She has her face hanging up in Mackey Arena, and yet my mind goes to my father, who went not to Purdue, Tate. He went to Indiana University, class of 1980. The last time Purdue was in the Final Four, by the way, in 1980. Yes. So I don't know if there's some sort of synergy there with that. But my father is the biggest Purdue hater on the face of the earth. We have to get the hater's perspective. Dad, let's start here. How mad are you? You're definitely not mad, are you?
Well, first of all, I want to know if this is a Purdue men's basketball podcast or Titus and Tate I'm talking to. If you guys could talk about Purdue a little more on your podcast, that'd be awesome. Merry Christmas, guys. I mean, you know what? Big deal that they're ranked first. Purdue is still in West Lafayette. They still have ugly colors. They still have a goofy, creepy-looking mascot and a goofball nickname. So who cares? They barely beat an unranked Iowa team at home, and they rank them first. That's just unbelievable to me.
So not mad at all, it seems. Seems like he's not mad.
Not upset. Unbothered.
You know, Iowa's best player didn't even play, and they barely beat him. And you know who ranks these people? It's a bunch of opinion. There's been 3 ranked teams in 5 weeks. Now, how smart are these people?
That's a good point. That's a good point, Tate. If the AP voters, great point, Dad. If the AP voters are so smart, then how come they had Gonzaga? They've been so wrong throughout this season.
Week 5 already. They've been wrong twice.
Dad, where do you think in Mackey Arena Purdue's going to hang the banner that they were ranked number 1 finally for the first time ever?
Well, they'll hang it somewhere, probably next to that 1932. Same thing, based on someone's opinion. It wasn't based on fact. When they get some of these hanging,
there we go.
He's got the 5.
Talk to me then, people. Talk to me then. That's factual stuff, not some people's opinion. You know who else had opinions? I have zero respect for pollsters, zero respect for the NCAA selection committee. I'm going to tell you guys something. I don't know if I've ever told you, but Belmont Bruins were 26-4 last year and didn't make the tournament. It's some of the same people making these rankings and decisions. So it's unbelievable to me.
It's all opinion.
Yeah, it is. Well, here's some factual stuff. Jim, don't screw this up and bail them out. You know how many road games Purdue has won this year out of their 8 wins?
Probably 0, I would guess.
0.
Wow. 0.
You know how many? How about this? Out of the top 25 this week, 13 teams have not won a true road game.
Wow. So Dad,
Jim, don't bail them out. Who has won the most road games, true road games so far this season?
Ooh, not Duke.
You guys are the experts.
Is it USC? No, are you talking like of the ranked teams? That's right.
Yes,
I'm right.
USC. Nice. They're 3-3.
Chris, shout out to our director.
USC ought to be ranked number 1.
I love it.
I like that. Pac-12 update.
Yeah, our director's a USC alum.
He's got the USC
he's wearing
pullover.
He's wearing a USC sweatshirt right now. He's nodding along. He loves it.
Don't rank a team first when they've not won on the road. That's just ridiculous to me. But let them have it. Hang that silly banner up with all that other mess in that arena they play in.
Great bathrooms.
Do you think it's going by the 32 banner? Or do you think they spread it out
I think they spread it
to make it look like there's more? Do you think they put it by the Neil Armstrong went here banner that they have hanging up there?
Well, let's put it right by all those 24 Big Ten championships, 12 of which were won in 1940 or before. So, and they talk about IU dusty banners. So they can have, you know what? Who cares? It's early December. And to me, this is like posting a first quarter NBA score. Nobody cares. It's going to change before it's over.
I love it.
I love that, Coach Titus. And I will say, I think you pointed this out. I mean, Iowa coming there, you could see that Purdue was thinking about this number 1 ranking already. And the fact that it already was affecting them, I think gave me, I was hovering over the panic button when I saw
they were choking away. Iowa started pressing and they're throwing it all over the gym. And you could feel every single person in Mackey Arena was like, we're going to blow it because that's what we do. This is Purdue. We've seen this movie before.
But it got me worried for the tournament and moving forward. So I think it's a win for Coach Titus.
Yeah.
Well, this is the third thing that makes Purdue fans happy. You know what the first 2 are? When Purdue wins or IU loses.
Yes.
I've never seen a fan base get so excited when someone else loses. It's like they won or something. I don't give a rip if Purdue wins, loses, or draws. It makes no difference to me. But being ranked first when they haven't played anybody on the road is just crazy.
Coach Titus, do you think this is setting up because, Matt Painter's been able to come into Assembly Hall and he's been able to perform with his Purdue teams over their most, recent years, Coach Titus. Do you think this is the year that Woody can make that statement? Yeah.
Dad, what do you think about he's holding up the banners?
Talk to me when Matt Painter hangs one of those about how great he is.
Dad,
go ahead.
What do you think about my theory, though? You keep pointing to the banners. What do you think about my theory that I've thrown out that Indiana in Assembly Hall, the 5 banners look too cool, and you need to actually like get them off center or like make them look less cool because they look iconic to have the 5 banners there in Assembly Hall. That I think adding a 6th one at this point would mess up the vibe of the place. What do you think about that? Do we need to change the banners in Assembly Hall?
No, we'll keep the same banners. We'll make room for them. There's going to be more than 5 eventually.
How is Mom handling Purdue being number 1? What's the Titus household like back in Indiana?
House divided.
If I hear her walk around the house one more time singing the Purdue fight song, I'm leaving. She's been rubbing it in a little bit.
Laura Legend.
She's a legend.
Yeah,
all right. Let's contextualize this for all the younger listeners that might not understand. Purdue basketball, first time in the history of this program they've ever been ranked number 1. But where does this fall? Yeah. Where does this fall in the top moments in Purdue basketball history? So I'm going to have you, Dad. I'm going to read. This is my top 5 moments in Purdue basketball history, and you tell me where you think being number 1 falls. At number 5, I have Robbie Hummel's last game when he almost beat Kansas in the second round. I think that's certainly where we start at number 5. Number 4 is when they almost beat Virginia in the 2019 Elite Eight.
Yes.
Everyone remembers that game. Purdue maybe should have won it, but valiant effort. Hang the banner. Almost took the national champions to overtime. Tate.
Almost.
Yeah, almost did it. Number 3, I would say beating Iowa in the 1980 third place game. That was huge for the program when they did that, and they got to the Final Four in Indy, but then they beat Iowa after they lost to UCLA. When Bob Knight threw the chair, I have that at number 2. And then at number 1, I have the 1932 national championship that was awarded in 1943 by the Helms Foundation, which wasn't even a foundation. It was just, if you look this up, this is true.
Shout out to Helms for 1924.
It wasn't even like a sports foundation. It was literally just a guy running a bakery called the Helms Bakery. He started a fake foundation and then gave out national titles. So where would you say number 1, like where on that hierarchy are you saying being ranked number 1 falls for like the greatest moments in Purdue basketball history, Dad?
Well, I don't like the top 3, Mark, because they're factual things. I like the 2 almost things because they lead the country in almost victories and almost success. They've almost made some Final Fours recently. They almost beat IU in 1979 in the NIT championship game, but they didn't get that done either.
Almost.
And
they beat them in the
almost. So they lead the country, I think, in almost meaningful victories. So, the 32 banner, but I would probably take out one, 4 or 5 and slide that in there. But it's no big deal to us. Being ranked 1 just kind of comes pretty natural in Bloomington.
That's a good point.
This is the year for Indiana to be the spoilers of Purdue's success.
Yeah,
I do feel that.
That'd be awesome.
How do you feel about Woody so far? You love the hire. You're the one who talked me into it. When he got hired, I was like, I honestly don't know how to feel. And then I called you and you said, Woody's going to kill it.
Yeah.
What do you think so far?
But I think he's got them playing hard on both ends of the floor. I think they need to be stronger with the ball and obviously cut back on the turnovers and make free throws. But I think Woody's been doing some good things. And I know the not just Bloomington, but the state of Indiana is pretty fired up because he's down there.
Yeah.
It's all the talk in the state of Indiana right now is Woody and the Hoosiers. Not so much
until this crap came out today.
This crap. Trace Jackson Davis, though. I mean, that's first team. He's first team All-American right now. Had some of the biggest games of the early season, 5 weeks in.
Yeah, he has. He's played well at times. I'd like to see him catch the ball and be a little stronger with it. But other than that, he's doing all right.
One of the things I love about
Trace Jackson, free throws.
One of the things I love about Woody and Trace Jackson Davis is Woody spent all off season, not all off season, but whatever. He gets the job, and the first thing he does is he convinces TJD to come back. And the big hook I remember in the off season was like, we need you to come back because you got to work on your jump shot so you can be, better. It can help out your draft stock. And then Trace said, I will come back. I will not work on my jump shot. In fact, I'm going to dunk everything now.
Yes.
And now he just leaves the country and dies. He's like, what if instead of jump shots, I just dunk everything? He's like, all right.
Would he like take him into a tape session? Was like, this is all the things that you do wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was great.
He shoots fewer jump shots now than he did at any point before this.
Efficiency.
He's just dunking on everybody. It's amazing.
The analytics there.
What about? We'd be remiss if we didn't mention Coach K. You know, we got that on the show. Coach K, people forget that, started at Indiana.
Protege.
The first coaching job you ever had was you weren't there when he was there, right? You weren't in school when Coach K
No, he was there before I was, but I went to camp down there the summer he was there.
Oh, really?
Any memories from Coach K, young Coach K?
Absolutely. I think it was John Laskowski was doing a free throw demonstration, and I was laid back because it was early in the morning, and I was going into my senior year and wasn't terribly interested in shooting free throws, kind of like I used to in the last couple of years. So Knight sees me laying back. I don't talk like this. I don't talk like y'all do on your show. But anyway, Knight sees me and goes, "Hey, you." And I'm like, oh, boy, there's three of us there. A friend of mine and then another friend of mine who ended up going to, Mark's namesake, played at Michigan.
Yeah.
So Knight sees me laying back and he said, "I don't take that from Scott May and I don't take that from Quinn Buckner. I'm sure as the hell not going to take it from you. Get your ass out of here." And then he looked at my best friend who he knew because he was recruiting him. He goes, "And you, and he skipped over to the other guy. He said, "You go too." And Mark Lozier, a dear friend who hit a shot in 79 to beat Magic at Michigan State, right when regional sports television was coming out. But anyway, so we went back to our dorm room. Coach K somehow found out who we were and where our room was and came up and got us, knocked on the door and said, "I'd like for you guys to go talk to Coach Knight and apologize so you can enjoy the rest of the camp week." So he did, and we went in, and Knight started yelling and screaming at me because I was going into my senior year. My other buddy was going into his sophomore year, and he hit me on the back, and I stumbled, and then I turned around and swung. No, I didn't swing at him.
So hang on a second. Are you the first person Coach K ever disciplined?
Yeah,
is this the first example of Coach K ever going into someone's locker room?
Power. Yeah. You were the start of it all.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
he took the.
That was the soft side. That was the. I was the first good guy act from Coach K, I think.
Yeah. Oh my God, my dad was the first. Like he scolded Dylan Brooks. We remember that in the tournament.
You better.
He said you're better than that. My dad is the first instance of Coach K hunting down a kid who misbehaved and saying, "You can be better. You can be better.
Yeah.
Look inside yourself and be better, please.
Look at me."
I ran into him in the hallway. Was it 91 when they won it in Indianapolis?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. When Duke won it, was 91, I think, right?
91. They won 91, 92. Yeah.
Yeah. So Coach Guy saw him, and I asked him about the incident. He said I didn't tell him about it, but he said he remembered coming up and doing that. So great guy. I really respected him because he did that to a young kid. So I've enjoyed following him. So it was a good experience.
Coach K farewell tour.
Coach K got
it just keeps churning on. How did he get to you, Coach Titus? Who reached out to you?
I don't know how he found us.
Nolan Smith. He sent a package to the Titus house.
We're saying you're at a loss for words over there. You're just, it looks like you have a gun held to your head as we're talking about Coach K. You're just like, he was a great guy. And
no, he has been. He's done all right.
Oh man,
he's not Bob Knight, but he did all right.
Speaking of Camp State, I think I've told this story on the show before. The proudest my father has ever been of me, and this isn't even a joke. This is honest to God truth. The proudest my father ever in the history of my life has been of me was when I went up to Purdue basketball camp. I only went up because my mom made me go up. My mom is, as we've talked about on the show, Laura Legend. She's like, you got to come up to Purdue camp. It's a camp full of Purdue kids, so imagine how good they all sucked. They were terrible. And I won everything. Like I had the free throw contest, the dribble tag, what have you, knockout. I'm just racking up these awards. And at the end of the camp, they start announcing all the winners. And I'm like 6 years old or 7 years old or something. And they're announcing like all the winners to come get your trophies. And every time I would go up to get a trophy, I would not shake Gene Candy's hand as he gave me the trophy. I would put my head down and take the trophy and turn around and walk away. And my dad, like, He's never been proud. I swear to God, he has never been prouder of me than when I would not shake Chief Katie's hand.
Actually, you didn't go up there. You sat there and you made Coach Katie come to you.
Oh, really?
And he handed you the trophy, and he reads the next winner, and he goes, Mark Titus. Oh no! So he walks back and he goes, "You going to shake my hand this time?" And you go. He goes, boy, you've got some Bobby Knight in you.
Oh my God, that's so good.
So that was a good time. That was fun.
There you go. Anything else you want to say? Any other?
Can we just shout out that Coach Knight is back there on the program too? That's
true. Yeah.
Hell hath frozen over. I mean, we thought that was never going to be possible, but that's what Woody has brought back into the fold.
Purdue fans love this, by the way. That we had Dad on to talk about Purdue. We just talk about IU the whole time.
Yeah, I mean,
they get it.
Yeah, no, it's still who number one is.
Are you Dad? Are we going to the game? Purdue when Purdue comes to Assembly Hall, we should do that. I think Fox has it.
That'd be awesome. Let's do it.
This is true, Ted. I told Fox they do like a bidding deal where they bid
for games.
Bid with ESPN and all that stuff, and they looked at the Big Ten schedule, and they one of the people here at Fox asked me like what games are under the radar. Like we know Michigan State, everyone wants to watch that. Like Ohio State,
or do they?
Ohio State, Michigan will be good, obviously, but they're like, what's an under the radar game? I was like, if you guys don't get Purdue at Indiana this year, when IU fans have talked themselves into Mike Woodson, Purdue might be number one. It's happening now. Fox got it, so they listened to me. So we have the rights. January 20th, I think. Purdue's playing at IU, so we'll see if Purdue can win. What would be their 12th in a row? I think.
Forget about that. USC will be ranked first by then.
We do like USC. That's a good call. Yeah.
Anything else, Dad? Anything else you want to?
No, just excited about IU and their chances, and excited that they Woody's got it going down there, and couldn't be happier to become a true fan again in Bloomington. So we're excited about
almost had Coach Titus.
Where do your loyalties lie? We had a lot of questions about that when Belmont, Indiana played in the secret scrimmage. Who were you cheering for and all that? Like people wanted to know, and I was like, honestly, I don't know. My dad was lost there for a second. He was lost in the wilderness.
Well, I tried to get down to the game, but Coach Mata wouldn't hook me up, so I wasn't able to sneak in either. But nothing else. I just have, if I could do my closeouts or shout-outs and closeouts.
Yeah, please.
Here's my shout-out.
Oh, Belmont. Nice.
Go Bruins. And here's my closeout. You all talk way too much about
What is it doing? That's it. He just hung up.
Yeah, that was a good gimmick. I like that. I don't know how he blacked out the camera, but I like that.
For that reason, I'm out.
Oh man, that's it. All right,
that was great.
That's done. All right, we'll take a break, I guess, and come back. And I don't know how to sign off after that.
That was great. Thanks, Coach. Somehow I feel like he's still here. You know what I mean? Like
he's gonna come.
That
back.
was a very like all that '90s way to exit. You know what I mean? That was very cool.
My dad, I think, might know me better than I know myself, because I told Jim to pull the Purdue fight song just in case. I was like, if my dad starts getting out of control, let's just play him off of the Purdue fight song. And we had it queued up, ready to go, because I didn't know what he was gonna say. I thought he was gonna be like, my final thought is this. Yeah, there it is. I was ready to just play him off.
I'm glad we gave your mom some love. That was the Purdue part of the segment.
That's what the funniest part about my parents was always like, my mom truly, my dad gets so fired up. My mom, her approach is like not caring, and that makes my dad furious.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my mom cares, but she does. Like my mom would never talk trash to my dad today. She would just like, she'll just hum the Purdue fight song today to herself.
Yeah,
and she's doing dishes.
It's so pure.
Yes,
you know
and it's so pure. She'll never be like, "Hey Bill, Hoosier sucks." She's just like, "Oh, the Boilers did it." You know, and like my dad's like, "Grr!" It's so good. Congratulations, Purdue. Hang the banner. Put it up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back. I meant to bring this up to my dad, by the way, Tate. I thought about this driving in. The last time Purdue played for a national championship was 1969, which was the year that I believe in my history books, if my history recollection is correct, was that not the year that Neil Armstrong walked on the moon?
Yes.
So Purdue
It was also the summer of 69.
Purdue in March of 69 plays for a national title, loses. And then in July, Neil Armstrong walks on the moon, and they have not been back to the national title game since. So is there a curse? Is I guess the question. I don't know. I should have thrown that by.
Did they say they sold their soul?
Yes.
To go to space.
Yes, and after they stopped caring about basketball and started caring about Neil Armstrong, went to our school.
No,
that's what they cared about.
Yeah, they went from all stars to real stars. They haven't come back to Earth since.
Makes you think.
Maybe they're coming back to Earth. This is the time. Congratulations.
Every Purdue fan is going, like, tomorrow, like, they're enjoying it today. Tomorrow, they're going to be like, we're going to screw this up somehow.
They were nervous. I mean, Fran McCaffrey, you were right. I mean, they started pressing, Iowa did, and you could see not only in Fran McCaffrey's eyes, but like in his kids' eyes on the court, like that it was like they knew that Purdue was thinking about the fact that they had to win this game to ensure that they would be the first time they were number one. And it was just a free for all. You know what I mean? You could read it.
Yeah, Fran's in the huddle just saying to his guys over and over, it's Purdue.
Yeah.
They're going to Purdue this.
Yes.
They're going to.
No, he's like, they're pooping their pants. They're pooping their pants.
Speaking of a team that's pooping its pants, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, the team that was number one in the country to start the season.
Pac-12 update.
Lost to Alabama in Seattle in a game that they made close in the end, but Bama was putting it on them for a second there. Like, what were they up 18 in the first half? What is the story of this game? Is it Bama being good? Bama lost Iona, by the way. Rick
I know
Pitino.
I think that's what I like because it makes Rick Pitino look even better.
Is the story Bama is good, or is the story like, do we need to start worrying about Gonzaga because Gonzaga didn't lose a single game all of last season, Tate, until the national championship. Now they've already lost twice.
When I look at this Gonzaga team, and we've talked about this, they're obviously not as good of a team as they were last year, compared to last year's team. That's a conversation we'll keep having. But I do like the idea of Gonzaga being able to play in March without the all the eyeballs, on them and people saying they aren't who we think they are. They're going to choke again. If they're a 2 seed or they're the fourth 1 seed, and maybe they're not going to be a 1 seed now after some of these losses. We'll see. I think they still have a chance to be a 1 seed.
They'll still if they dominate
they
the
win
WCC,
out.
they'll still be a 1 seed.
They'll be fine. But let's say that they lose to BYU, maybe lose to one other game, and now they're not a 1 seed. If they're a 2 seed, they're probably even scarier, and maybe even it might be a relief for them playing in the tournament without that target on their back. I will say that because. Timmy, these guys have already done it. They know that they're waiting for March. They know they're playing for March. And they might just be a little bit, they're looking ahead. I was like, when I watched the Milwaukee Bucks play, it's like they're thinking about the playoffs. They don't give a shit about. No, I mean, I think it's a little bit of that. I think their vision's up here. And, Alabama's a tough team. They come in, you think you're going to be able to beat them like you always have clinically. And they have some athletes and they kind of run you off the court. So it maybe humbles them a little bit, but also I like Gonzaga more as an off-the-radar team than when they're a top dog.
That's all that's left for Gonzaga to do is win the national title.
Yes,
that's been true for however many years.
But they might be better suited coming a little bit, on the outside lane as opposed to having the inside track.
Yeah. So you're not worried.
I'm not worried. I'm not giving up on Drew Timme being able to figure out a way to win a title.
Okay.
I'm not done with that.
I'm trying to process it because last year, like this is the fun part of college basketball is like last year's Gonzaga team would probably beat this year's Gonzaga team by 20 at least.
Yes.
Maybe not, but I don't know. The difference between last year and this year, I guess that's where
Nimhard versus Nimhard.
If we're talking about the problems with Gonzaga this year versus last year, is that they defensively are not good. Like last year, they weren't an awesome defensive team, but their offense was maybe, the best offense we've ever seen in college basketball. Mm-hmm. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't sat down and crunched the numbers and thought about it. Either. But maybe
we'll do that later. We'll go crunch the numbers.
They played very fast tempo, and their efficiency numbers through the roof. They had NBA guys at it felt like every position. They were stacked. The stuff they were doing offensively was insane, and they could afford to not be perfect defensively from time to time because they win at every game. Like, we're gonna, no matter what you do, we're gonna outscore you. That caught up to them obviously in the national championship because Baylor is making everything, and Baylor's every bit. Baylor's was built the same way. We're like, we can score and we play defense. So suck on that.
No easy buckets.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that was Gonzaga's MO last year, and I feel like they've carried that attitude into this season. But the problem is, Their offense is not as good. They're first of all, their defense isn't even as good as it was last year. But like you could get away with it if you had last year's offense. You don't. The guards aren't as good. Suggs and Kispert and Ayayi are not there anymore. It's now Nembhard and Strother and Bolton. Like that's the difference. Chet is
interesting,
figuring out his way.
Yeah.
I think he's not bad by any stretch of the imagination.
I don't think he's your
not,
number 2, right?
Yeah.
Like Suggs was obviously your number 2.
Yes, and then since at this time last year to now, the blueprint to like handling Drew Timme is kind of not handling. I mean, you're not going to like shut the guy down, but Baylor and Duke, like the two most notable or most visible losses that Gonzaga has suffered were Baylor and Duke, and they just punked out of Timme. I mean, there's just physical dudes inside. So like that's my fear moving forward is like last year it was kind of a mystery of like how the hell is anyone going to touch this team?
Yeah.
And now I feel like they look very vulnerable. And if you're playing Gonzaga, I hear what you're saying. It's better to not have the pressure.
Yeah.
But it's almost like if I'm going up against Gonzaga and if I'm an 8 seed and I'm playing them in the second round, I'm like, we can beat these dudes. I'm just gonna punk Timme. Like all we have to do is punk Timme. Like
I just like someone writing on that board, like number
punk
1,
Timme.
Punk Timme,
make the guards beat. Like I don't know. There's like an actual, you know what I mean? Like there's an actual strategy. Last year there was no
the tape.
Yes.
To back up. What
last year there was no strategy except for like 3 teams. Because all the other teams were like, you're not going to beat them. You're just not as good. So like, don't even
think about it.
Don't even think about it.
Yeah.
But this year it's like there's an actual strategy. That worries me a little bit because that again with Gonzaga every year moving forward until they win a national title, it basically is national title or bust. Like we don't care. There's nothing interesting about anything they could possibly do.
I'm not writing
until
them
they
off.
win a national title.
I'm not writing them off.
Yeah.
I think they're still a title team. I think they're still interesting, and I think that what you said about Chet still figuring it out, I think is true. And by the time we get to March, he's more fully formed. And those two guys in a front court, the only front court that I see posing problems to Gonzaga legitimately in the tournament is Purdue. And who knows if they ever play each other in the tournament. But that's
Duke if they play again, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I like Mark Williams. But I think they can handle. I think Chet and Timme at that point, I would take them against Duke.
You would take Gonzaga to beat Duke if they
in the rematch in the tournament.
That's not unreasonable.
No, I mean no slights there, but
yeah,
I think Gonzaga is going to get better as the year goes on.
Yeah, and
not to say that Duke won't get better either, but I'm just saying I like where Gonzaga's headed.
Gonzaga also if you're trying to win a national title, by the way, you don't have to be the best team going into the tournament. So like if that's the standard, like you said, like it's okay because like basically it's like you have to just get to a level where you're in the mix. And like not every team that makes
where you have a path,
win it, but
yeah,
you have to be like playing at a level that's like if things go right, and then you just basically just hold on for dear life and hope that
it all goes right.
It all goes right.
I mean, every single title team, there's one game that they're like easily could have lost that game.
And in that regard, Gonzaga is
for Virginia. It was like 3 in a row where you're like, this could have gone either way, but they figured it out.
In that regard, Gonzaga is good enough. They're going to be good enough when the tournament comes to win the national title. And I guess it's like kind of all you care about, but you just want to make sure that.
I like the drama of them losing. Yeah. Like I think I could see us looking back in March and be like, oh, yeah, that's right. Alabama beat Gonzaga in Seattle. You know,
Bama's interesting. Bama. Nate Oates is going to be interesting. I don't know because Bama is the #1 make shots team.
Yes.
Like when they make shots, they look awesome.
Unbelievable.
When they played Iona, they couldn't hit anything and they lose. Like it's. The variance with Alabama is wild, and it's going to continue to be wild. They could literally beat anybody in the country because they play up tempo and they shoot a ton of threes and they have awesome guards. But sometimes they don't make those threes,
and the
it's
SEC
to,
is
like,
a gauntlet. They have 7 ranked teams, 7 AP top 25 teams in the SEC. I mean, do you think when we started the show, it was 2015, 2016. I would have never thought that we would be saying that the SEC has 7 teams and the ACC has 1. And it's Duke in Coach K's farewell season, which is basically a given. Duke could lose 10 games in a row and they're still going to be ranked 25 because it's Coach K's last season. You know what I mean? So like the ACC basically has no teams right now in the top 25.
Yes.
Maryland, come to the ACC.
Why? So Maryland, come join this conference that's dying.
Maryland, come to the ACC.
The ship is almost completely underwater. Come jump on and
the door. There's room on this door.
Big fish, small pond.
There you go. There you go. I mean, Duke will be done at that point.
Oh man, should we wrap it up by talking about Memphis a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to throw this out to you and even Jim. You can get in on this because this is less to do with what's actually happening on the court, as is always the case with Memphis.
Yeah.
It's always the case with Memphis. That's why we had Verno on, and I was asking, I was like, do
YouTube.com.
I straight up asked Verno, do people in Memphis even care about the on-court product? And he laughed at me. And now look at us, where we're at. I think I'm right. I think I was vindicated with this. That it doesn't even matter if Memphis wins or loses. It matters that we're talking about them.
It was the energy.
There's stuff to talk about. So Memphis loses at Ole Miss. They have now lost 3 straight. Ole Miss is not going to make the NCAA tournament, probably. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but they're not. No one has them on their radar. They're not penciled in.
Lenardi does not have them.
They're not in the next 4 out. We'll put it that way. Georgia is the worst team in the SEC, probably. I don't know. Missouri's pretty bad too. Anyway, these are bottom dweller SEC teams that they're losing to. Iowa State blew them out. So this is 3 straight losses that Memphis has suffered. A Memphis team, as a reminder, that won the NIT last year, brought back 3 starters from that NIT team. And then the 2 guys they added were 2 5-stars that
were number 1 players in the country.
Made up, both number 1 players in the country. Yes. It was the number 1 recruiting class in the country.
With both number 1 players.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of expectation. It is not going well for Penny Hardaway, and we could talk about all the problems they're having, which is basically just they're turning the ball over at an insane rate. I think they might actually lead the country, and if they don't, they're very close. Like literally the entire country. Like including all the
any level,
the 350,
yes,
including 6th grade, including 4th grade, Pee Wee. They lead the country in turnovers, I think, or they're very close to it. They're averaging like 19 turnovers a game. It's insane. Yeah. But far more interesting to me, Tate, is what's going on with Penny Hardaway off the court, which is this. Someone brought it to my attention that on Penny Hardaway's Instagram story yesterday, he takes a picture from church. Did you see this?
No.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
He's in church. He's in like the front row of church. He's taking a picture of the pulpit, and there's just people about. Like basically, he's like, it's just like a picture that says like I'm in church, basically. And he writes on the picture, "Memphis, we need you now more than ever to pray for our team. Prayer warriors all over the city. Please pray for us. # God got us with the prayer hands emoji." This coming on the heels. Can you imagine?
I mean,
can you imagine?
I'm gonna start praying for Penny.
This coming on the heels of after losing at Ole Miss, he's doing his post-game press conferences. Here are 2 quotes that I pulled. "We've got so much negativity in our locker room with veterans being jealous. Nobody's willing to sacrifice minutes, touches, anything. It's been miserable." There's another one. There aren't enough.
That's real talk.
That's tough.
Yeah.
There aren't enough guys in that locker room who care about winning unless they are the ones that are helping us win. It's not team. That's the danger of having a lot of talent. The talent has to want to play together, and right now the talent doesn't want to play together. That's the vibe in Memphis. And then he goes to church and says, "Memphis, please pray for us. We need all the prayer warriors out." Can you imagine like the city of Memphis?
I like them like going to a vigil for Memphis basketball, like R.I.P. Memphis. Like they're just like lighting candles for Penny Hardaway. I mean, honestly, you have Duren, you have Imani Bates, you have the expectations, you have Larry Brown. You know, shout out to Coach Brown. I mean, he said he needed basketball obsession. You know, that was the big takeaway I had when I talked to him. He needed players that were basketball obsessed. Is something that, and that's Coach Brown. You know, that man is 81 years old on the recruiting trail. He's obsessed with basketball, so he doesn't understand. You know, a younger kid not being obsessed with basketball. It doesn't compute to him because you're playing D1 basketball. So I think that might be something. And same with She's the same way. I mean, that's their DNA. Like they're basketball guys. You know, that's just what they want. They want to be in a gym. They feel comfortable in a gym. That's where they hang out. That's their country club, right? That's where they belong.
Yes.
But I'm not saying, you know, I'm not seeing that necessarily that mindset is trickling down all
to the players.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you saying that
I'm saying we need YouTube.com because they need to put the tape up. We need to watch the tape. We need to see what's going on. What is the Imani Bates fix? How do you get veterans to like 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds? How do you get them all to come together? And I think Penny answered that question. You just pray.
Pray. Pray. I don't think Penny knows. I think he's just like, we're gonna God got # God got us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After asking them to pray, though, it does say the worst is over. In all caps. That's how that post ends. So he knows what he's doing.
Okay.
It is the darkest before the dawn.
Okay. Is this God's plan 2.0?
I mean, there's a chance. There's a chance that maybe these 3 losses have humbled and made the rest of the Tigers repent, and now they are ready to ride again. Because I will say they do have great coaches on that staff. I mean, you have...
And Penny Hardaway is not one of them, and I think that's the problem that they're running into. I think that's the issue.
But Penny has reminded us that, one, he's the point guard, so he's basically been the coach on the court his entire career. That's what he wants to remind the people. So in that sense, he is a coach. He just needs to be playing. So they need a point guard.
It's not.
Can you look that up in the bylaws? Can your coach play?
Can your coach play?
Because I mean, we got to go baseball with it. Maybe he wears a uniform. And maybe Penny Hardaway's their point guard because they don't have a point guard. And Boogie Ellis, their point guard, who won the NIT, who committed to Duke a long time ago, a Duke defector, shout out to him, is now USC's point guard.
He saw the writing on the wall and was like, I want to get the hell out of here. Yeah. I want to be coached, as it turns out.
And now Andy Enfield, who we have never seen, we don't know what he looks like. He is coaching Boogie Ellis and the USC Trojans to the number one spot in the country, according to Coach Titus.
The number one team in the country.
According to
my dad. Yeah, you're for Penny, by the way. Is it time?
This is his team. This is Penny's team.
Remember when and I laughed at this, so I know I'm a hypocrite because I did during my Maryland rant. I said like don't let outsiders tell fan bases how to feel about coaches or whatever. But this was an exception because I thought it was just so freaking funny. When Memphis fans formed a coup against Tubby Smith, or Penny Hardaway formed a coup against Tubby Smith, and Memphis fans were like cheering it on because Penny Hardaway knew James Wiseman when James Wiseman was 14 or whatever, and Memphis fans were like, "Yes, let's please do this. This is a great idea. We should fire Tubby Smith, hire Penny Hardaway." And then James Wiseman played three games, a grand total of 3 games for.
I mean, Precious Achiuwa was great, but yeah, I mean, it was an absolute mess, and I love Tubby Smith, legitimately. But I understand they wanted to get rid of him. You know what I mean? Yeah. It made sense that they wanted to get rid of him.
It probably made sense just the way it happened.
But the way that it happened, you would assume that that's not going to lead to, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I get like the
other side of that is usually not just
that doesn't
success.
Make like what happened with Penny doesn't make firing Tubby wrong or getting rid of Tubby wrong. It's just that the way it's all like. I'm sure Tubby Smith is just probably I don't know, smoking a cigar on his back patio, just like, interesting. Well, Memphis is what'd you say? They're fine.
And if you form a mutiny, you have to expect on the other side there probably is going to be another mutant. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, when do we get to the point where Larry Brown is like, I'm the coach of this team?
Words of wisdom from Tate Frazier.
Yeah.
If you form a mutiny, it's probably
one on the other side.
Yeah. Best of luck to Memphis. God's got them now.
God's
the worst
plan.
is over. They repeat as NIT champions. That would be something.
That would be cool. I think that would be really cool. And you can't hang the banner. You can't say anything about it.
Yeah.
Because as your dad pointed out, the NIT.
How many NIT? In all seriousness, how many NITs in a row would you have to win before you're like actually impressed? Like if a team won like 7 straight NITs, I would actually be like, you should actually hang a banner for that.
I feel like Belmont could win 6 straight.
Yeah.
You know, and like do the Jordan like. Somehow they have a Jordan Bohannon type that won all 6.
If you win 1, nobody cares. 2, you have my attention, and then like you rattle off a streak. Yeah, like the 3-peat, the NIT 3-peat.
And then now I'm watching for the NIT more than that. What do they get in the tournament? They're like pissed. Like they opt out. They play in the NIT instead.
Oh man! Shoutouts closeouts. Let's wrap it up.
Man, I just want to shout out first and foremost the past in 2020 because Josh Pastner. And what he was during that era. You know, North Carolina played Georgia Tech.
When you say the past, is that a nickname you had for Pastner?
Yeah, it was the past. And the welder, as we called him on this show. I mean, what he was last year, it was like a flash in the pan. You know what I mean? It was just like this beautiful moment of just necessity meets an eccentric man, and you know he wears the face shield, he becomes his caricature. And North Carolina plays Georgia Tech this week. I'm watching the game. I was at the Rams game with my parents, but we're watching on the phone. It's just he just doesn't have the magic anymore, and he's got to put that visor back on.
Dude, I made the case before the season that
he's got to bring it back.
I made the case before the season that he should have retired. He should have just got into media. He should have rode off into the sunset. And
he could be Billy Raftery.
Yes.
No, I mean he literally would be like the most fun guy.
Yes.
Around. And he has none of that aura without the shield. Literally zero. I literally was like, is Josh Pastner sick? Where is he?
This isn't the Josh Pastner.
This isn't the past. Not how I remembered it.
So he did that. That was the fear. We were talking about it last year. It's like, is this?
It is. I wanted to shout out how much I enjoyed that experience because it is confirmed that it's over.
Is he? Yeah. Does he need to do the Richard Hamilton and keep wearing the mask?
He has to.
Saying, yeah.
He has to.
How about that?
Yeah.
I want to shout out Zion Williamson, who walked me through this because you're the one who sent me this. But then you sit down.
Don't put this on me.
But then you sit down and you tell me it was Photoshop. But then you told me the Photoshop wasn't even that bad. Does the mystery continue trying to figure out if Zion's fat?
Yeah,
what was this? What happened? Tell me the story. Tell me everything you know.
Zion Williamson, #1 pick.
Okay, not that much. I don't need to know that.
Well, he's obviously hurt right now. He went to a Pelicans game and he has a Jordan brand. You know, and sweatshirts are tough. You know, you wear a sweatshirt. Sometimes you have things like right now. I got things in the front of my pocket. You know what I mean? So sweatshirts are tough. You know what I mean? Like you never know.
Sweatshirts are tough.
You can never read the body through a sweatshirt. You know what I mean? That's how. So Zion's got let's say a bulky sweatshirt on. He's also been injured. A lot of people are saying he's the beignet bandit. He's eating a lot of beignets. and he's at this game. We don't see much footage of him. It's kind of like he's Bigfoot at this point. You know what I mean? It's like when we see a photo, it's like a grainy.
It is like Bigfoot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so they take a picture of Zion. He's looking big. I sent it to you. And then the report with the picture that someone tweeted was like Zion Williamson confirmed over 300 pounds, which the Mendoza line for him has been 300. You know, if Zion's over 300, we have a problem. If he's under 300, we're in the money, right? So confirmed he's over 300. He's in a big, bulky sweatshirt. It does not look good. Fast forward, 2 hours on the timeline, right? Someone comes in, fact finder. Zion Williamson. This picture that y'all are showing around, photoshopped. This man is not this big, and I don't know who's saying he's over 300 pounds. And then then they show the before and after, what the real photo was, what the after photo was, and you look at it, and he still looks fat.
It's the exact same picture. It's like
I don't know. I do not know what the answer is. I don't even know what the controversy is at this point. But somebody knows something. And Zion, a friend of the program, reached out to us and said that Zion should go to Utah. As far as the cuisine, and that would keep. Oh,
like go to the. I thought you meant to lose the some sort of Rocky training montage in the mountains or something. Yeah.
No, but they were just saying the Jazz could be a good
play.
He
should
go play
for
the Jazz. Yeah.
Yeah.
For food purposes, because apparently he loves New Orleans food.
Well, hold on. I hear that argument. I've seen that a lot. I've seen people say when Zion went to New Orleans, he was doomed because the food is so good down there. But as a guy who has lived in a lot of cities throughout my life,
you always find the food.
With garbage food. I was at my fattest living in Columbus, Ohio.
Mm.
The food scene in Columbus is not exactly world class, we wouldn't call it. So I don't know if I think fat is a mindset, Tate. I think if you're a husky boy, you just find the food no matter where it is. I got fat off of Penn Station and Chipotle, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Which they're everywhere. I don't think you need the beignets and the gumbo.
But let's be honest, if you get addicted to the beignets,
that's true.
And you're just at Cafe Du Monde, and you also can't run because your foot's hurt. That's the problem. You would lose a lot of this water weight or beignet weight from playing practicing.
Jim, what is the? Have you ever been really fat, Jim? Have we talked about this before on the show?
Not really fat, no.
Do you have a moment?
Not
really.
It's physically impossible based on my diet and my exercise. I should be 800 pounds, but I'm not. I don't know.
The Cunningham genes are just too strong. Do you have a fat story at all? Do you because whenever I see Zion Williams, that I've talked about on the show a bunch, I just go back to when I was fat and I put it in my own perspective and try to think about. Do you have any? I can't do that.
When I was a baby,
that's it.
That's about it.
That sucks. I don't trust people that weren't fat.
I mean, I've always had just a little gut. Whatever.
All right. Well, that's
sorry to disappoint.
That's stupid.
I'll get fat for the show.
You should get fat for the show.
Like Mac from Always Sunny.
Yeah.
You put on 300 pounds.
Honestly.
So you could give us the Zion report.
Yeah, no, then you do things that Zion would be doing. Like how would Zion feel
wearing sweatshirts?
Yeah, you have to be over 300. But the problem with this whole thing is that we still don't know. You know,
I'm officially worried about Zion for real. Like all jokes aside, I'm officially like I feel like the chances of him being out of the league in 5 years are no longer like 1%. They're like maybe 3% or 5%. You know,
yeah,
like they're going up.
It's like 7%.
Yeah, it's like now, like if you told me that was going to happen, I wouldn't be like, "There's no way." That come on,
what's
come on.
higher?
I'd be like, well,
that or his body fat percentage? You think?
Oh, good question.
Do they like go up together?
What do you think? Remember in the bubble remember in the bubble, dude, when the picture of him masked and he was working out and he
Photoshop.
He'll be back.
And then I tweeted like he lost 25 pounds of fat and added 10 pounds of muscle, and then like it got aggregated and everyone reported my tweet as fact.
And people were saying that, you know, basically the bubble was the weirdest experience as far as like basketball opinions, you know. Because if you read back what people were saying in the bubble, they're like John Morant, trash, Zion, better.
Tyler Hero,
GOAT. You know what I mean? It's just like Jamal Murray, GOAT. You know, not to say Jamal Murray won't be, just obviously injured, but like some of the things that were going on. Anthony Davis, best player in the world.
That's true.
True.
That's still true. Oh, what else? What other shout-outs?
Oh my God. Honestly, I'm just thinking about Anthony Davis right now. Jim Conner, the best player in the world. Shout out to Coach K.
Yeah, don't let Purdue being number one take away from Coach K retiring.
Thank
I think we got to make sure we don't spend too much time talking about how great Purdue is. We gotta focus on Coach K. I want to do if you're out of shout outs.
I'm out of shout outs.
I would like to shout out my dog Moses, who as of tomorrow, we're recording on Monday, but it comes out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's his birthday.
Oh,
he's 11 years old. Moses is 11.
Nice.
He shares a birthday with Larry Bird. Older dogs are the best.
He's the best.
He was the best when I got him. He was the best when he was like 2. He was the best. He just continues to raise the bar. He's the best.
He just keeps climbing the ladder.
I absolutely. We got the picture of him behind the.
Do you remember last year his bracket of chaos?
Yeah.
Like the man is an agent of chaos.
He picked Abilene Christian though to go to the Final Four,
and he wasn't wrong.
He had VCU in the Final Four, by the way. Yeah. VCU
so
had to.
It actually made his whole bracket like it doesn't count.
Yeah,
because it was fraudulent because of
Moses
COVID.
led the charge of thinking the tournament was Mickey Mouse because he had VCU in the Final Four. And then VCU has to not play, and he's like, "This is all BS." And then that's where we got the idea from.
Yeah.
You know who else has that birthday that shares with Moses?
Who's that? I'm scared to ask.
Johnny Bench.
Oh, really?
Oh, nice.
Dean Ambrose.
Oh, Dean Ambrose.
T.O. Okay. And most importantly, Dan Bilzerian.
I ruined it.
American hero.
Oh my God.
Moses and Dan Bilzerian.
Pay respect.
Huh? Remember my old roommate Alex?
Yeah.
She told me some stories about that guy. I was like, oh my God.
Oh no.
Moses? Yeah. How old is she?
That's all I have. Happy birthday, Moses. The plan is we're going to the dog park all day. We're gonna give him all these cookies and I always I go to the dog store and I find the biggest stuffed animal I can find.
Let him tear it up.
He loves ripping up the stuffing and pulling it all out. So then the place just has stuffing all over if you come over on Moses' birthday. So that's on the docket. We're gonna go to the dog park and then let him rip a fat teddy bear to shreds, I guess. I don't know.
I love it. So. He deserves it.
He deserves it. He's the best.
What a good boy.
We gotta get him in the studio.
I know. We need him. We need him. When we start doing live shows, we should have him on just so he's like moseying around, you know? And we have a mosey cam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations, Purdue. Hang the banner. Purdue Boilermakers.
Thanks, Coach Titus.
Thank you to Coach Titus for coming on the show. And that is it. We'll see you guys on Friday.